All right, welcome everybody to another marketing roundtable where we have a little slice of marketing madness every single week, and we love to share it. We've got a fantastic live audience here where we're going to really open up to a bit of Q&A. So strap yourselves in. We are going to run through some lead generation 101. So the first part of today is around that, and we're very much focused on service sector businesses. My speciality is service sector businesses. So if you are providing a service, if you are having to do meetings and writing proposals or sending out quotations, that's the type of product that we, or not product, but the type of business that we work with, and very much look to give these tips for that. If you are e-commerce, retail, love you lots, but this isn't for you. I have no experience there, so hence why we are very specific. The second part of today is that because it's Black Friday coming up on Friday, and a lot of people have asked, I'm going to do a very quick demonstration of the $1 Million Sprint system at the end of this session. Be very quick, and then we'll give you the early bird look at our Black Friday offer. So this is the offer that's going to go out to our priority list. We're going to say that you have all, lucky you, enrolled onto our priority list, and we're going to give you a quick synopsis of that. And then finally, we're going to have a little bit of time for questions. The session only runs for 45 minutes, but we'll leave a decent 10 minutes or so for the questions at the end, if I can talk quick enough. Great stuff. Good to see the people that are just jumping on board as well. Okay, so the goal of a successful lead generation campaign is to generate qualified leads. And we're going to dive into what qualified leads mean in a second. But essentially, we've got defined target customers that we want to sell to. We want to really have the right type of leads and the right type of opportunities and consistency. And that's what we want to try and give you a bit of a feel for today. So to start off with, let's understand the basics, right? You may have heard people talk about this, MQL, SQL, and what is the difference between these things? And it is a little bit corporate-y. Everybody loves a little bit of jargon brewed there, but it is very important to know this, and actually in your business to define these definitions. And MQL is a marketing qualified lead. What does that mean? Well, it means something that the marketing in your business has generated. Maybe they've downloaded an ebook. Maybe they've attended an event. Maybe they have kind of put their hands up and commented and talked, and you realized actually this person that downloaded this ebook actually is the right type of target audience for us, and there is a potential opportunity, right? But they have only showed interest in your ebook. They haven't necessarily showed business in your product yet. Okay, so you can see how the difference is. Now, when you start to then interact with that new lead, you then warm them up to becoming actually an opportunity for a sale. And that's where they transition from being a marketing qualified lead, like a suspect, we suspect they are a lead, to being actually a prospect, i.e. a sales qualified lead. And they have booked, therefore, a sales conversation with you. And we're going to show you how that works in the funnel and how you can actually use different assets to automatically pass people through, but they are very clear distinctions, and it's quite nice to get a bit of a feel of that and thinking about that. Cool. That's step one. Step two is then to identify your target audience. So it's so important when we talk about qualified leads, we need to know what the type of leads that we want and what is a good lead, what is a great customer. Now, for my marketing agency, I had a great customer. I was lucky enough to be asked to go and pitch to this person here, Colin, and he asked my marketing agency to come in and say, look, we got an opportunity. You know, he was a owner-operated business. It was an IT company, service sector, about 50 staff, you know, local to where our business was. And when I was running my marketing agency, that was ideal for me. And it meant that I thought, crikey, I finally found the right type of person. It was like, great, he was a joy to work with. He was great, really responsive. He had a team to be able to help him. So it just worked, and they weren't overbearing on us, and they liked what we produced. You may have one of those clients. And when you find that, actually understand what is it about that person that you really like working with. And then once you know that, start prospecting towards that type of demographic. unpick that, like actually decode what it was about that person and what it was about your service that they really like. Decode that. And we managed to then, I love this picture because this is a picture. You can see Collins in the blue shirt on the left-hand side. Now the person next to him is Andrew. And in that networking, this was one of our kind of showcase events that we'd invite people along. It's a free event. We'd invite them along. We would then give them some strategies and then give them a bit of a proposition at the end, right? Now, of that whole room, they weren't really the right type of client, and we hadn't kind of really dived down. But Andrew was very much like a Colin, similar size business, similar type of goals, etc. And the two of them ended up sitting next to each other, talking to each other the whole time, swapping business cards at the end, and were understood that they really enjoyed networking with each other. And so the point is that Collins, your audience, start to enjoy being with each other and also networking with each other, and they are similar. And so we realized that actually, Andrew was the only real prospect in the room. Of course, he then actually went on to go and buy from us as well, because he spoke to Colin. Colin told him how much of a great service he's getting, and it was an easy sell. So once we knew how we were servicing Colin then told other Collins, in this case was called Andrew, and then the business grew. So really get to grips on who your target audience is. Number 3, understand exactly what the proposition is, right? Solve a pain and do it well within a solution that scales, right? The solve a pain and do it well is so, so important. And when you're a service sector business, all I want you to do is to draw out your version of a customer journey map. This is our version here, where sorry, I didn't mean to minimize that. Let me show you. This is our version here. We want to take people from the Hall of Fame, which is the result that we want people to get to. We want people to get to $1 million in revenue. That is what we work with. That's our accelerator. Where they start is in the qualification and the preliminaries. Basically, they start at 0, and we help them to go through the different stages to go from 1K to from 5K, 10K, 20K, etc., up to Hall of Fame. There's different things that happen. Now, every service sector business, I believe, should have a customer journey map. If you really know who you help, then getting this result at the top, the result up here, is so, so important. What is the result that you get to client? And then once you know that, where are they now, right? Oh, hang on, let me just minimize these things. So where are they now? And then the journey that takes them to there is your process. So I was doing this with one of my clients when we onboarded them yesterday, and we said, right, where are they now? She says, oh, they're kind of here, and she does SEO, for people's websites. And she said, well, they're here, and they kind of have a website that works. It's a bit broken. They've never got any inquiries from it. And I said, well, what's the result that they want? And she was like, well, they probably want to have, more hits on their website. They want to fix a few of the broken links. They want to have it make it look better, show their brand in a nicer way. And I said, that's not right. That's not right. The result that they want is more leads that become sales. So what you sell, oh my God, my pen's getting all funky today. So we want more sales, right? That's what they want to buy. They want a website that generates inquiries, that gives them sales, right? They don't care about broken links and, robot.txt files that are incorrect. Oh my God, nobody cares about that. But what you say to them is say, right, step 1, we need to make a plan. Step 2, we need to understand what makes a good client for you. Step 3, we need to then put some landing pages around that. Step 4, we need to write some content around that. And then step 5, we need to do some link building. And what they will go is go, okay, I can see that you've got a nice step process to be able to get to result. Awesome, right? So you can show them this journey. And then from that, you then go through these steps and they justify logically why they would buy from that. So you sell them the result through this journey map, and then they justify logically by seeing your journey. Even if they don't understand the ins and outs of it, they trust you as someone that empathized where they are now, maybe even told a story of when you were there back then, and then you sold them result. It's the same with weight loss, right? You want to sell the result that you look great in a bikini, right? That's the result that you want to get. Where are you now? or your daughter sat in your lap and said you were very squishy, and therefore you want to go through these different steps, right? It's whatever it is, you have to show people the transition. And if you can do that, my friends, and if you can demonstrate that, it's all you need is this one diagram for your business. It doesn't have to be cartoony like this, because if you're trying to sell to corporates, you would make this look a little bit more, corporate-y. If you're trying to sell to a male audience, you can make it very masculine, and same with a female audience. You make, do you know what I mean? You brand this in the way we smell to small businesses, so we like to make things a bit more fun, right? And so we do a nice journey map. And so by you having this one asset in your business, trust me, it is so important for lead generation and being able to help. Okay. 4, we want to understand your sales funnel, right? So we talked about the power of one last week. We talked about having one asset for awareness, one for consider, one for convert. What do we mean by that? If you go deep on one social media platform like LinkedIn, you could be doing things like LinkedIn articles, LinkedIn blogs, newsletters, posts. You can go live, you can create groups, you can do DMs, outreach, all the rest of it. You can go really deep in that one social network. That will create a load of awareness for you. Then have one asset, like a weekly moment. What is a weekly moment? That is something like you've got a weekly podcast that you do. You've got a weekly event that you do. You've got a weekly YouTube video that you launch that you spend, a significant time getting right. Okay. That moment moves people from awareness, which is just simmering. They don't count as leads. Nobody who is aware, nobody's at LinkedIn with you is a lead. It's wrong to think of them that. But if they then come to an event, or they then subscribe to your podcast, then you could probably, so the problem with podcasts, you won't actually know who they are. So if they subscribe to your podcast and then go onto a landing page to download the file or the show notes that you had as a bundle off the back of that podcast, then they become an MQL, a marketing qualified lead. They have consumed a bit of your value. Awesome. The next stage is to then open the door to say, hey, if you really liked what we said in this podcast and you enjoyed this download, or if you really enjoyed the event that you came along to, why don't you come along to one of our sales meetings and have a demonstration of the product that we sell? Then that's when they transition to SQL. And you see how you do that? And actually, if you just have one thing, we don't want to friend zone people. So for example, if you have a podcast, a weekly event, you're trying to push a YouTube channel, you are giving like 3 consideration assets every single week. You are over delivering for your audience, and you just want to have a bit more a frictionless funnel. You don't want to do that. You want to spend more time just moving people onto the sales pitch, right? So really, really important. Cool. So understand that sales funnel. The 5th part is around what gets measured gets improved. So by having what we call an RTM dashboard, what does that stand for? Reporting, targets, and management. I.e., if you can report on the numbers, i.e., the amount of leads you're getting, the amount of calls that you're booking, the amount of strategy sessions you're getting, that will tell you what the data is. And so that's the reporting. Now, the targets bit is the blue columns on this sheet. You can see those blue columns? Those are those targets. So by having those targets, that would allow you to know that actually that's what we're aiming for. So your team knows what you're aiming for. You know what you're aiming for. Your entire business has targets for what they need, right? So if you've got reporting targets and then management, well, the point being is you use a spreadsheet like this to manage those channels. So if you want to put on an event and you want to be able to get 20 people along there per week, then that's your target. And by having these numbers that you report into, it allows you to review that. So when I started off and didn't have a team, I would plug these data in myself. And therefore, me doing this once a week was my management meeting with myself to work out how well did the business perform against the targets that we set at the beginning of the year. And that little action, not having to sit down and go, well, Richard, what do you think about this? Oh, well, actually, Richard, I felt like this. It's not about talking to yourself. It's the action of doing it makes the brain think, oh, what did we do this week that made the actual uptake? It's such an important piece of being able to grow. And then, of course, what happens is that you can unpeel yourself from the day to day by saying, right now, I want to be able to give one of these tabs, one of these actions to a marketing apprentice that might come in, right? And now I want you to be able to get me 240 leads a month, right? Bam, that's your target. And I want you to do that by doing X, Y, and Z, right? Then I want to be able to get X amount of sales. So I want to bring a salesperson in, and then you can give them targets. You can see how a spreadsheet helps you to unpeel from your business as well. Cool. So what gets measured gets improved. And then step 6, the penultimate step tonight is today, whatever, is to use a CRM. And the CRM is so important. So once we're managing our numbers and we know what our leads are, then how are we managing the leads themselves? And this is a really simple demonstration of a Trello board where we're just creating columns at the top. We're chucking people's names in. It's a template that we give to our clients, really nice and easy. And they can plug their leads in. So you can see here, there's LinkedIn leads there, there's Facebook leads, there's roundtable bookings, etc. And it just gives you, so I can kind of give you an example of this. So this is a live one. This is, a CRM here, and you've got all these different columns. And as soon as you're getting people, you're just moving them across from column to column to column to get them to convert, right? And that's the whole concept. You've got to convert people and move them from each stage as you go along here. And each one of these cards, I won't go into it because obviously you'll have people's detail. Oh, I can do this one, I think, because this is a fake one. So you can go into here, and in each one of these cards, it's just name, email, telephone, profile. You actually add that data in. You can put comments in here. You can see, look, I can save comments in here. I can talk to people, etc. Say I gave a phone call. Trello is free. That's why I love recommending it. There's tons of CRMs out there, but it is doesn't cost you a single thing to be able to put together a column like this and to start managing leads that you get into your business. Cool. Okay. So this is an example. So we give our clients these kind of blank templates in there. And also, just as a super tip, if you're doing this for yourself or you've got a team, you can actually create a how does this column work? And so inside each one of these, you could, give a bit of a write-up on how this works. You can then give examples of what people should do. So from our perspective, when we've got our team in, I've got this, that follow attempt 1, how this list works. I've written down, well, if they don't answer or if you've called them, then send them this email. And there's a templated email. So not only does this column become a CRM, it also becomes a job description for people and a thing that they have to do to be able to help them to be able to go through each step. Makes sense? So it allows you to keep on briefing people and to be interactive, and you can keep on editing and improving each one of those columns as well. So it's like a little project management per column. Cool. All right. And then the final thing is to look, don't get overwhelmed with imposter syndrome. Or even just overwhelm or all the rest of it, because the problem is when people try and go into sales, or when people think about trying to start on this route, they find that it's all a little bit much, and they go, oh, actually, I can't do all of those things. It seems difficult, or a CRM and a this and all right. Oh, my mind's going to blow. Don't get yourself overwhelmed with it. Just chop a little bit off at a time, particularly the dashboards, particularly the way that the funnel works, because it's just so important just to take a little bit at a time and build the asset, because it's a machine that works for you, and lead generation is so important. So just take the step and keep on stepping when you're doing this. Cool. Any quick questions at this stage before I move on to part 2? Okay, good stuff. All right, look, let's have a look at this, because as I said, we've got we want to share this with everybody, and we look at how we can be a help. And I want to very quickly demonstrate how the $1 Million Sprint works and how we could be of assistance to you, and look at this Black Friday offer. It won't take long. So remember, we already have a process on how we work with people to be able to get them to the Hall of Fame. It's a 12-month sprint. That's the idea, and we work you through the different stages and growth, right? You'll start off with me with a race strategy session, and that race strategy session is a one-to-one session with me, and we'll sit down. This is an example of a strategy session I did with Ada and Andrea, and we will create a strategy together, a funnel together. So this is very much the funnel we do. So you see here that they're doing a LinkedIn outreach campaign. They're doing a warming up email sequence. They're all targeting a weekly moment. From their weekly moment, they're then getting people into strategy sessions. They're getting landing pages for their flagship products, booking decision call onboarding, and they're also duplicating their weekly event as a YouTube video and a podcast. So they're just taking the content, just chucking it up on there, right? So that's the tactic, that becomes the plan, and we build that together on a blank sheet, and we just build this, right? So it's a really great interactive session. Then the next step is then we give you time for success. So we just get you into a habit of just blocking out an hour a day to build and also to do the sales and marketing, because although building out that won't take an hour a day for a whole year, that's not what it's about, but dealing with the inquiries, getting them into calls, doing the calls, right? You've got to put a sales and marketing hour into your diary to be able to do this stuff. Otherwise it doesn't get done. So that's a really important point. The third point is that we give you a growth project management system. So we translate that funnel onto your very own Trello board. And this is where you can collaborate with a team if you've got one, if it's VAs, etc. You can do that. And I'm just going to show you this. So this is a growth project management board. So here you'll see the funnel is here. And then we've got these different cards, which is the different activities that need to be done to be able to make that happen. So you've got awareness, consider, convert, and then deliver. And then on the left-hand side, you've got not in this funnel. So this is a funnel, we've designed it, and there wasn't any Facebook community, or there wasn't a Facebook ads in that funnel. So the training that we've got for that gets slid across the left, so it doesn't, it's kind of it's there waiting if you want to go and add it in later. And then we just go at the awareness. So this is the awareness, and we go, okay, right, great. So what do we need for awareness? Well, we need to sort out our LinkedIn profile. You see that there's all these to-do lists, and you can go through and you just tick them off, and like I'm 75% complete. And you go, okay, well, I need to go and think about, well, what is this LinkedIn, anything else? Okay, let me watch the video. So you go onto here, you go watch the training. The training will give you a step-by-step guide. It will give you swipe files. It will give you an idea of how to do it. And the lovely thing about it is that they are only 7 to 10 minutes long, maybe 15 max. So in your $1 Million Hour, you watch the video, you do the action, you get it done, you tick the box in the Trello board, you then move on to the next one the next day. And that's what it is. It's that little step. You keep on stepping, those stepping stones that are out ahead of you, right? So you can do the action. Once you've done it, you can kind of tick the boxes off. The beauty of this is it's not just a case of knowing what to do and how to do it with the videos, but we can also put in when to do it. So for example, if we say we want to do that tomorrow, we save that and we want to assign it, and you can add your team into this. So I can assign it to Dave or John, and I can put them in. I can say, right, you want to go do this? Cool. Yeah, no worries. And you sign it. So I can assign it to myself to tomorrow, and we can then see all the different times. So that's how the actions work. And then if we want to go and see, so if we think, well, what am I going to do in my $1 Million Hour? Look, we can go to the calendar here and go, right, I need to do that on that day, this on that day, that on that day. And you can then see the calendar and the tasks so it can be done. And you can see other people's calendars when you assign it to them and the tasks that they need to do. Cool, huh? So that's for the how, what, when, and where to go. There's also things in here like, so for example, the weekly moment, there's swipe files. So we go, well, actually, we want to send out these email campaigns to be able to get people to our weekly moment. Well, to help you, I've produced a 13-page document here. And this is an example of just one of many different swipe files. But this is a 13-page document of templates for you to swipe. So you essentially, these are social media posts that you can use as inspiration. And these are emails that we use to be able to go out and actually get people along to events like this if you're going to run events like this, right? So 13 pages of that type of stuff. Happy days, right? So that's the dashboard, and that helps you to do the elements. But we want to support you further. So we have here my 13-week cycle. So we talk about this 13-week cycle. We put out content. What should you post on social media each day? And I have my 13-week cycle, which you then can also get access to. I don't know, did I have it up and ready to look at? No. Okay, so you go on to we give you this template, and so on here is the exact post that we put out every single day of the week for 13 weeks, and then we go again. So we run the same cycle 4 times a year. 52 weeks divided by 4 is 13. And so you can see here on Monday, we send out a poll. And so this is the type of poll we do on LinkedIn. Tuesday, we do a promotional post and an email to be able to invite people along, and a social media post here. So you can see how we have developed these assets. And so you can then take this template and then start to put your content in it. So then you have a 13-week cycle. And once you've done it once all the way through, you've got all the content, you then get, say, a VA or a member of your team, or you just do it. It's a lot quicker just to copy paste the next 13 weeks. And you're just running the same 13 weeks, same 13 weeks. Because remember, this is all about moving people from awareness to consider to convert. And by giving yourself 13 weeks to work with each person, by the end of that process, if they haven't got into a conversion yet, you're not worried about repeating it. And I can't remember what I wore yesterday, let alone what I did 14 weeks ago. So nobody's going to remember you running that same event. Okay, so let's come on back to here. So you get the 13-week cycle. And then daily, every single day, we have a drop-in clinic. And so our drop-in clinic is an hour where I'm on a Zoom and our clients drop in and will ask questions, share screens, say they got stuck on this, or they want me to read a landing page or look at an email campaign. I am there every single day to be able to help you to be able to grow your business. So it's access to a coach every day. And that's the most important thing. And that's not just like, oh, how are you feeling today type coaching. It is a show me your campaign. Let's critique that. Let's have a look at your ads. What are you doing on your ads if you're running ads? Or what are you doing on your outreach? Yeah, let's have a look at it. I'm there every single day for you to be able to help for an entire year. Okay. Number 6 is the community. So we've got a great Facebook community where we ask people on Monday, what's the 3 things you can get done this week? And everybody then posts what their 3 things are. And then we check in with them on Wednesday to say, hey, how are you getting on with your 3 things? We'll say, Tim, you said you were going to do this, this, and this. How are you getting on? Can we help in any way? Do you need a swipe file? Is there a template? You're struggling to get access to stuff? Cool. Right. And we go and help, and we reach out on Wednesday. Then on Friday, we have a Friday Finishers Club where everybody who's got their 3 things done just celebrates, and we have a bit of fun and look forward to the weekend. So it's kind of nice momentum, a little bit of accountability. Also in that community, we share wins. And we have a nice little kind of leaderboard for engagement and stuff. So it's all kind of a little bit of accountability, a little bit of fun, a little bit of gamification in there. So that's great. It's called the Athletes Village because we're $1 million sprinters, so we're athletes, right? Then just remember, I'm not going to fob you off to some other set of coaching people. It is genuinely me that's going to be there with you to be able to help you every step of the way. So I think it's really important. I know there's plenty of other accelerators that just say sell and then give you, these other coaches that aren't actually the person that's come up with the content. And it works, gang. These are the results that we're getting. We've got people that are doing big deals. We've got people that are growing teams. We've got, this is Lilac who sold her first 3K program, but now she's got to go and build it, which is quite fun because, it just shows that people are creating something new when they're first joining and they're using the program to do it. 3 sales in 1 week on his mastermind. And then these are our Hall of Fame trophies. So these are clients that have come through the process and got into the $1 Million Hall of Fame and got into there, and we send them a trophy. So it works, gang. We get the people up there. So remember, the road ahead is laid out for you, and the program is there. So apart from this question, which is basically so how much does it cost question, is there any questions from you guys at this stage about what that looks like or anything I've just mentioned? Feel free to, if there is, to unmute yourself and ask. Rich.
Good morning, Woodsy. Just like to say that for anybody who is thinking about this, that I had the dubious pleasure of doing this, and it was brilliant. So, you talk about the community. I still talk every week with people that were on the same 3 months as I was: Alan Gardner, Cara Cunliffe, Ghazala Jabin, Richard Clay, to name but a few. So we've all kept, the gang has kept together. Jez Cooper, we've all kept together, and we're all, you know, it's been great.
Oh, bless you, Richard. Thank you. By the way, that is you're totally not a plant. I just want to point that out. Like, but thank you.
No, I'm no plant. I've got no flowers. I'm nothing.
Yeah,
But I hope the check's in the post.
yeah. I was going to say thanks, mate. I appreciate that. Bless your heart. Thank you. Thank you. Good. And I do appreciate that. Cool. So look, guys, you could spend 24K, 36K a year on stuff like this. Trust me, I have 2K a month, 3K a month on accelerators. I've been there, I've done that, and it has nowhere near the level of support that something like this has, because this was born out of the fact that I was frustrated that I didn't get enough time with the mentor, didn't get enough time to be able to share ideas, etc. So the normal price of the $1 Million Sprint for 12 months is $997, right? So 10K basically for the $1 Million. So that's the regular price. But we want to reward decisive action, and because it's Black Friday week, which is why we're doing this now on Friday, but we're giving early bird access to this, we'll be going out for our deal. So the deal is 47 quid for full membership for the rest of this year. That includes the one-to-one strategy session with me, that includes getting your Trello board, that includes getting all the program and the daily drop-in clinics, right? So that's what you get for the rest of this year. So we get you up and running. You're thinking about what you're doing for 2023. And then when we start in 2023, you will have either, and so there's two options here. You either have a pretty much $3,000 discount and the ability to pay monthly, right? So that gives you $597 per month plus VAT. If you're not UK based, you don't pay the VAT, by the way, so just point that out. UK based. And by the way, if you are not VAT registered and you're thinking about coming to work with us, you will need to be, because obviously your revenue will go up, so you'll claim back any VAT that you pay anyway. So 597 plus 597 per month. So that's your nearly $3,000 discount. Or, and the beauty is you don't have to make this decision until January, which way you go on these two, or it's 4,997, so a $5,000 discount, so 4,997, and you wait until January to decide if you want to do the monthly or if you want to do the one-off. So the option is here. So you can start now for 47 quid, and then wait until the 9th of January. So it's the 9th, so it's the second week in January. So obviously we don't want to give you a bit of time to kind of think. If you want to pay monthly, which is the 597 per month, or you pay the 4,997 one-off payment, and that gives you the whole year for free. You have the link here. Point to make, I'm going to put this link in the chat. So this is the landing page. There's a landing page here. Explains it all in loads more detail and has the ability to access one of those options straight away. If you jump in early, i.e. today, tomorrow, then you can get into my diary for the one-to-one kickoff session for Friday. If you jump in today, you actually can get into my diary for tomorrow as well for the one-to-one kickoff session. Next week, obviously, we've got all the people that will be buying on Friday jumping in. So it's a good option to kind of get in the diary and secure your one-to-one with me before and get started, get access to everything, say hello to the community. So that's the offer on there. I'm going, as I say, I left a bit of time for some questions now. So happy to open it up for further questions, thoughts, clarity on anything that I've just said. But yeah, 47 quid, and we'll be getting started this week. Into the room, gang. Thoughts, questions? John.
I just want to say, Richard, that you made that look all very, very simple, and it's not if you're on your own. So the fact that you offer the one-on-one mentoring, just giving that little nudge, it really does add extra value. I was questioned last week, because I run a membership organisation, as you know, and someone said, I pay £300 a year for my membership, but what do I really get apart from the meeting that I go to? And that just had a smashing, like, absolute mallet into my forehead, because I just thought, I'm not demonstrating my value. I'm not telling people what they're actually getting because they don't take it up. I put in an email and all of that sort of thing. And you just got to push that, have that little bit of extra guidance. So having you there on the phone and those drop-in sessions and other people around you, it just adds so much better value than trying to achieve this on your own. So looks like it's great, mate.
Yeah, no, and thanks for saying that. I think the point is whenever you stumble across an idea, a problem, a thought, within 24 hours, there will be another session. There's another opportunity to ask. And they're not, there's sort of 6 to 8 people maybe that might go onto the drop-in session each day. They're 10 o'clock UK time, by the way, so it's kind of works. We are thinking for next year because we've got Australian clients already. We've got so our US clients struggle. So they watch it on the replays. So we're probably putting a 4 o'clock UK time session in the week as well. So just a bit more flexibility for the US side. But yeah, there will always be Monday to Friday, by the way. So there's no, I have weekends, so I just wanted to just let you guys know. So Monday to Friday, there's always a drop in, and that's nice. So people come on Monday to get a bit of momentum. Some people come on Friday just to finish the week off. You don't have to come to all of them, come to some of them. So they're great sessions. They're good fun. Further thoughts, questions, gang? Got even if it's not to do with the program, if it's to do with the presentation or your business, happy to take further questions. Roman, morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning from Barcelona.
Good morning from Barcelona. Hola.
Hola. Good morning. So great presentation. I have seen other programs and here in Spain, and yours seems like very well worked out, especially because of this, this road to success, this customer journey. Yeah. My question is that, okay, I got a company, so this thing is something I would get, but then pass it to a person in marketing or something of that sort. And my question is that if the feedback and your consulting and this one-to-one that is this one weekly program that you do online, that no daily, no, it's daily that you have the meetings online, right?
The drop-in clinics, yeah.
The drop-in tanks, okay. No, my question is that if what you teach and apply here can really be applied to the Spanish market. Is that something that, the knowledge and the, obviously we'll have to translate all the emails because of the funnel that you show us, but is that something that, that can be applied in this market? That's my first question. And my second question is that, I know HubSpot and tools like that, of email marketing, because we can handle, hundreds, even thousands of, we got over 18,000 customers in our database. So what we want to do is sell more to our own database. Is this something that it's going to help us out, your program?
Yeah, so I mean, first question. So we've got Ada and Andrea. That's the example I gave you. The girls that you looked there. Just coincidentally, they sell to the Spanish-speaking market. So Ada's from Spain, Andrea's from Colombia, I think she is. They met because they both live in Ireland, strangely, and they both live in Dublin, and then they now sell business coaching to the Spanish-speaking market. So they do well out of this. So that's one thing. Pedro is part of the program. He's in Portugal, and so he's exactly the same question in terms of, would this work for a Portuguese-speaking demographic, and yes, and it is for him. So he's launching and doing very well. And it is a case of the translation of just going, right, I understand the concept. And let me give you the key concept, because this will help answer the second piece. Where we say, let me just jump into this dashboard. The point that we always say to people is you just really want to get this rhythm. So we say over here, you need to find a way of getting big awareness, right? So this is the awareness. Now, if you've already got people, you move them into your database, right? So once you've got them in your database, they are in that consideration piece. So you've already got, do you say 3,000 people in your database?
No, 18,000 companies.
18,000. And they've
Yes.
subscribed to your database, or they
Yes,
just
we're in a business for 25 years.
Amazing.
So the thing is that in the software business.
What happens is they sit there gathering sort of a bit of digital dust, because there's usually not enough that you've got to be able to talk to them each week about.
Mm-hmm.
And so by creating this weekly moment, it gives you a focal point to reignite your current database and to keep warm and keep them considering the new database. So you've got new and existing, and from there, you're bringing them into this weekly moment, which for you as a software business, you'd be thinking, well, what are the things that our software helps to be able to achieve to make someone do something faster, quicker, better, stronger, whatever it is, right? And so these are the things that we actually help clients to do. Okay, so if we educate people on each one of those each week, we split it out. We look at it like an orange and we unpeel that orange and different segments. Those segments, we look to find 13 of them. And then those segments, we present those segments. And it doesn't have to be a live event. You could do, so some people for their weekly moment do a weekly podcast or a weekly live on LinkedIn. So it could be a podcast, and then they do a monthly moment. And so they're still doing the weekly moment to warm up their audience, because they'll email their audience with this. But then what they do is they say at the end of each one, hey, at the end of this month, we're doing a workshop on how to be able to do X, Y, and Z. And so the weekly moment is like thought leadership and an excuse to email your audience. And then the end of the month, they try and fill this big webinar. And then you get that workshop. And then from there, you're then booking strategy sessions or demos if it's software, and you're bringing demos across from there. So you're doing weekly thought leadership, you're emailing your audience that, you're keeping your social media market aware of it, and then you drop the big workshop at the end of the month. You fill that with people, and then great, you then book all your demos for the week. The idea as well is you should be booking some demos off the back of this as well, because people will just see it and go, oh, that's cool. You know, you have a nice little call to action. So you're booking a small amount of demos in here, and then you're getting your big demos that you're filling for the month.
Okay. And you, in your experience, people don't get tired of, because we have a newsletter, and from the 18,000, we got 14,000 that are subscribed. And we do it once every 2 weeks. We send them a newsletter once every 3 weeks. This thing of the 13 weeks that you say, don't they get tired? We're always afraid that they get unsubscribes. You know, that hey, I'm getting too much email. I want to get out.
I think it is one of these little juggling acts. So if you go, well, I've got 18,000 people on my database, and at the moment I'm booking, say, 20 demos a week on the software, and converting 5 into a client. But I'm emailing only two times a month. You then switch to emailing 4 times a month, i.e. every single week. And now you're getting double the amount of demos, but you're getting double the amount of unsubscribes. Which one would that be a big enough negative to, is that too bad, or are we more happy with the demos?
Yeah, I get your point. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll have to measure how many more demos we get. That's how we.
What gets measured gets improved. That is the point, isn't it? So the more that you can have a dashboard and to work on that dashboard, the better. But also remember that what we're doing by frequently messaging people is as in once a week. Remember, I mean, I do it probably 3 times a week when I'm inviting people along to this. But just say once a week if you're putting a content out, is you're creating loyalty and consistency. And that makes more people super fans, but it's also creating the asset online that gets more views, and that attracts more people. So it creates like that snowball effect, the things speed up. Whereas if it's infrequent, there isn't that same momentum in there. So that's what I'd say. John, you're coming in there. Yeah, go for it, John.
Yeah, I just got a question about email marketing. Would you not encourage people to? I recently did this with our groups, but I'm not sure if you'd encourage it or not. Would you encourage people to unsubscribe from your mailing list so that you know exactly who is really interested in what you're doing?
No, I wouldn't. If you ask people, if you send an email out to everybody and say, hey, we want you to resubscribe, you'll get tons of unsubscribe or whatever. You just won't. It's like lots of people did that whenever we did GDPR, and they just obliterated their database. It's just pointless, because the point is, if they're on there, they are grown-ups, they're able to use the unsubscribe button at the bottom. Let them do that. What I would say is that if you can do an inactive and a search on an email list, so you can actually look at all the people that haven't been active in the last 6 months. Now you can do a reactivation campaign on them. So maybe you can pull them out of that. You can try and email them on a different email address. You might try and hit them up with a slightly more like in your face email, just to re-engage your passive and non-interested subscribers. But ultimately it's a case of time in. So it's momentum based, right? It's like having that heartbeat in your business. And if you can actually then get that momentum and work that way through that email list, worrying about people that aren't opening it, worrying about old contacts and stuff, shouldn't be, think forward, momentum. How do I get more in? And every now and again, people will see something and re-engage. It tends to be that you're just in their junk folder, and there's not much getting out of a junk folder once you're in it. So that's, you just kind of let it go. Donny, question. Yes,
it's Dion.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, Dion.
Okay.
my fault, Dion. Welcome.
All right.
Question.
Thanks, Richard, for the session. Just a quick question from my side. So I am just starting off my business service consulting that I'd previously been working, and essentially how I transitioned from the being employed to self-employed was just looking at what skill sets I had, what consulting services I'd offered historically, and just started looking for my own clients. Yeah. And now I'm looking at, okay, this is year 2. I've managed to get some business to get started, to just get input from the market. Will people take my services? Will they not? Which services will sell? Which ones will not? And I'm still sort of trying to fully determine, okay, what am I actually going to focus on? What's going to be the one thing, right? So I'm still at early startup phase of testing the market and testing what product, what service will actually sell better. But the question that I wanted to ask is, given the phase where I am right now, where I'm actually just trying to establish and focus, what is my company going to focus on mainly? I did put a website and I've listed the services that we can offer. And I have sort of done like some collaborations with some other consultants for some projects that have come up. But I still obviously need to focus and zero in on what is the main service that I now want to actually fully launch into the market. So my question is, what are the systems or processes that a company would actually need to have, or an individual would need to have prior to actually getting started on the program? Because, for example, you spoke about things you mentioned where you say, okay, the service will give you like templates on a CRM system that's already there. And I was at the phase where now I was only starting to look at, okay, what customer relationship management system should I be working with? Because of the nature of the consulting services I've offered in the last 2 years, it's just been a few clients that take a 6-month to a 1-year retainer. And now I'm looking at the growth phase of the business, like, okay, how do I scale this? What am I actually going to scale of the services that I'm offering? But in looking at your program, I'm like, okay, there's a clear roadmap that an entity can take. But what are the systems that I would need to have prior to ensure that I actually get the most value at the time that I actually commence the program?
So the point being is that we have a whole module on your flagship product, finding and crafting that flagship product. So if some clients come in and they're already at revenue, they've already got the flagship product, so they might be coming in at heat 3 and starting along that route. So that's cool. They come in there. Many clients come in some people come in pre-revenue, and we have a whole way of creating that flagship product. And it's about that finding a scalable solution and knowing what that is. So from your perspective, the scalable solution isn't one that has you in doing consulting work, because it's unscalable. I remember when I first started coaching, it was one-to-one, and I capped out at 15 clients. That's it. I just couldn't do more. I was overwhelmed, and I had a huge amount of people want to work with me. So I had to transition. And transitioning into an accelerator, a program, or even a model where you're using associates to go and deliver, and you've created the journey map. So if you've created the journey map and some methodologies around that, then that's the thing that they buy, and your associates deliver it, and therefore you've now got a scalable solution. So it's about actually so our one-to-one when we start would be very much looking at your scalable solution, packaging that up, and then I'd be able to direct you to the training that's going to really help you to be able to further develop that. You would lock that in, so that would be certainly what we would get started straight away. And then from that, we then start we then unpeel that 13 different topics from that new product. That becomes your 13-week cycle. You then go out and start talking to the world about that 13-week cycle. And of course, that then has the gravitational pull of the people that are interested in those topics, and therefore the appropriate people that might buy your program. And bam, you now have a marketing model, and you've got a delivery model that works, and you go off and then just scale that, just turn up the volume and bring more and more people in to buy the program, because you don't have to worry about your time going, because your time is not tied to delivery, or it's tied to delivery in a way that's, say an hour a day, like that might be the one way you go and do it. Or so if it's an online program and a course and an accelerator, you might do a drop-in clinics model similar to my one. That's really time efficient, allows you to stay in there because you really enjoy it, but at the same time, you're not having to be on site or doing tons of different work, etc. So different models, different ways of looking at it.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Yeah, good stuff. Right, guys, well, look, we're just 3 minutes before 10. So I think that's a great place for us to close. Thank you guys for listening. Really, really delighted to see you. We'll follow up with a link to that, and also a recording of this as soon as we can get that to you guys today. Yeah, great to see you. And if I don't catch up with you, maybe see you tomorrow, next week at 9 o'clock at one of these sessions, or in one of those one-to-one kickoff sessions. Cheers, gang. Take care. Thank you. Great to see you.
Thanks, Richard.
Thanks, Rich. Cheers,
No
mate.
worries. Good to see you. Cheers, Tim.
Thank you, Richard.
Bye,
Take
John.
care, mate. All
No
the best.
worries.
Bye,
Bye,
mate.
Park T. Good to see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys. Bye. Thanks, Reverend. Bye.
Thank you. Gracias.
Gracias.